Hello and welcome to the Special Moves podcast. This is episode 135. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Kulkowski and Liam McKelvey. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
How are you doing, boys?
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, good, thanks. Very good, yeah.
We have a lot of emails to get through this week. We actually get the inbox is pumped full of emails, which is very good. So
bulging.
Yep. Yeah, bulging. We've got a bulging inbox, so we're going to be. This is going to be the bulging inbox special to a certain degree.
Fuck yeah.
We've been playing a couple of games. I haven't really been up to much games-wise, but
no,
got a couple to talk about at least. And as for new releases, there's basically nothing. I mean, there's a couple of things, but basically
they're not.
It's August is looking pretty quiet. I mean, as in like the entire month, apart from like one or two towards the end.
That's right.
I think isn't there Jeff Keighley. I'm sure.
I'm some results, doesn't it? You put that in Google.
I'm sure that his Gamescom in like a week or two, innit? Like, Gamescom opening night live soon. So it'll be quite cool towards the end of the month for announcements. But in terms of like tangible, hands-on gaming experiences, Jeff Keighley cannot provide them. And if he could, he would like. But thankfully, he hasn't quite got the monopoly that he hopes for yet. But yeah, it does actually. Now that you say that, I'm looking ahead. There's a couple of things on the 5th of August, I think. But other than that,
yeah, it's not a huge.
More on that later, isn't it? Right, literally as late as this podcast can go, right at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks everyone for keeping your emails coming in. As I said, so that's what we're going to be doing for the bulk of this. But there's some good topics in there to get through. Thanks everyone who's posted on Patreon as well. We did a bonus podcast last week. Cool. Keep checking the Patreon feed if you want to listen to the bonus pod, which is
I believe it went live this morning. Was the latest.
What did we talk about? Did we talk about a game for a change this time?
A little bit of everything it was.
Didn't we like go off piste and talk about like Orcs Must Die in action? No, I don't know. We talked about his game though, innit? New World actually. It was New World.
We talked a bit about New World, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
After built, do you know what? I feel like a bit of a dick because I built up to that for about months, innit? And then I talked about it in the paywalled podcast, yeah. But try not to think of it like that. Yeah, just think of it as
Okay. Well, have you played any more this week?
It's actually over, mate. So what happened was I went on a family holiday Friday to Monday away, and the beta closed on Monday. And now it's shut for renovations until its launch on August 31st. So the good news is, like I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't going to be here for the 31st of August. I was supposed to be in America, but because Joe Biden isn't letting anyone in at the moment, it looks like I'll be here in the end for New World's actual launch. But what I will say is, if you check out the picture podcast, you can hear. And if not, I've basically, tried to be the change I wanted to see in a world, and I wasn't just another guy's opinion on New World. So after all that, I tried to do my bit, keep the YouTube algorithm clean and whatever. So, yeah.
What? So you deliberately don't want to tell us about New World on the? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I will on launch, but that I'm just trying to basically backfill my reason for not speaking about it in the main podcast. But I think the real reason was I was a bit distracted because I played that game, that gardening game with like the radish people or whatever, Garden Path, and then I played Orcs Must Die, didn't I? So I mean, I didn't want to give it third on in the mix. So this week I played one game, but I've actually got two games that I'm playing. I can't talk about till next week. So the game that I've been playing, by the way, is Pokémon Snap, which seemed a bit random because it was the only game my daughter had on a Switch when we were on holiday and we had no internet access. Yeah. But they've just done like a little Nintendo-esque classic thing where they just randomly do a big drop of content. So like actually the day of recording, which is the Tuesday, the 3rd of August, they just added like an extra 20 Pokemon to Pokemon Snap and like a bunch of new stuff and whatnot. So it's kind of cool that Nintendo have been doing this lately. So I just thought.
What does that mean when they add Pokemon to Pokemon Snap though? Are they just popping up in different places for you to take photos of?
That's it, yeah.
But does that mean there's new locations, or do they just appear behind the same rocks that are already in the game anyway?
Well, I think they're in the same rocks, yeah, basically. Like, I think I can't actually hang on. New Pokemon Snap update locations, yeah. I'm verbalizing that for the audio listeners. You can hear my tip tap tapping away. But yeah, there's 3 new areas. And I think there was only like 9 in the original. So
not bad.
You know,
that's a lot for free, isn't it?
Yeah, like Liam, did you play any of this, by the way? I just wanted to ask.
No, I've still not played Pokemon Snap. I've been meaning to get it, but just keep putting it off. Who knows? This might tip me over the edge. A nice little content update.
You know what? I'll tell you, unfortunately, it's not like, because it's Nintendo and they just don't follow the rules. It's not like coincided with like a cheeky little sale or anything. They're literally still like full price. But I'll tell you what, yeah, it's actually good and it's not as tedious as it seems, which is, I mean, first of all, fantastic compliment, I'm sure, for any game developer. But
Crusader Kings 3. No,
that is on the box, isn't it? But Pokemon Snap, like, for those that don't know what it is, it's a completely different Pokemon Snap to the old one, the 1999 one. The reason I'm saying that is because, like, Nintendo like to say new sometimes when they actually mean, like, I don't know, like the new Nintendo Switch, which is just the OLED, or the the new 3DS, 2DS XL or whatever. But this is actually like a completely different Pokemon Snap. So it's not a remake or a reimagine. It's just like a sequel, basically. It's you're in a different region. You're in like the Lentil region. I don't think it's spelt like the grain or whatever the heck it's called. I don't think a lentil is a grain. If any vegans are in the chat, please let me know. Like, but whatever they are, they're nice. Yeah, I'm a fan. But so this is a game where you're on rails, right? And it's not an open world or anything like that. So, because in 1999, when Pokemon Snap, a first-person photography-based Pokemon game, when, by the way, in 1999, I think they might have just been second gen by then. Actually, Liam will probably be able to confirm. But like, if not,
it was so. Yeah, because I think like Pichu was in it and stuff.
Yeah, so it was around that time anyway. But the point is, like, we're talking like there was fewer than like flipping 300 Pokemon, and you're on rails in the 1999 version. Yeah, so a level. And obviously this is like before open world was like a standard. So you go into a level, and then it's literally you go from A to B in a set period of time. Like, you don't control the momentum with your little, like, you're on a roller coaster basically. Think of it like that. You're on a roller coaster, and instead of like a little laser gun, it's
like the car in Jurassic Park, in the original Jurassic Park. They're on a track, and you got to like
exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. So you'd think maybe foolishly, incorrectly, that the new Pokemon Snap would be maybe, I don't know, open world, free roaming, not sort of anchored down by the technical limitations of the 1999 version similarity. So, but yeah, they decided to keep all those limitations in. So yeah, you're in this little orb, like the new Jurassic box, but it's still, you're on rails. You're going from point A to B. And yeah, you've got like 9 different levels that aren't all unlocked. You kind of unlock them through this like really like lightweight story about Illumina Pokemon, which are like glowing versions of existing Pokemon or whatever, and trying to discover the secrets of the Lentil region. So, what I like is each kind of area has 2 very distinct like sides. It has the day and the night time. So the nocturnal Pokemon are out at night, and like sometimes you might go a different route at night or whatever. So that's really cool. And when you like take certain pictures, like you basically accrue like experience after you've hit a certain amount of experience on the level, research experience, like research points. You hit like a research level, like a mastery level of a certain track, and then maybe that might unlock a little fork in the road. So at a certain point of the level, you can choose to go left or right. And if you go right, it might take you under the mountain rather than over the mountain, and you might see some different Pokemon there or whatever. And there's all sorts of sort of like, I don't know, opportunities there. Basically, your interaction with the Pokemon is very limited. You can throw apples at them, but I don't think they're called apples. They're called like fluff fruit or something. You can, like a Wumpa fruit kind of sitch, isn't it? So then you can throw out these glowing orbs that make them glow. and like sometimes they react, and then you can play like a lullaby or well, not a lullaby, but like a song that will excite, or maybe it will lull them. I don't know, but you've got different interactions you can do. Other than that, it's pretty lightweight. Sometimes you can kind of coax them with like the not apples to like go over to the other Pokemon, and maybe there'll be like some sort of interaction, like I don't know, the whale mill will start having a fight with like, I don't know, some pufferfish Pokemon or whatever. It's pretty cool. And you know what? It's very good looking. Like, I'm playing it on handheld, and yeah, I've got to say, like, it's cool to be surrounded by the Pokemon because you get a good. Do you know what it is? Yeah, actually, one of the coolest parts about it, it's like there's a sense of scale that you just don't get in the other Pokemon games. When you think about it, Pokemon's like pretty much isometric, isn't it, or whatever, or overhead or whatever. When you're in a battle, you don't really give a fuck what the size of that guy's Geodude. But in this, when you go and pass like a Exeggutor having a nap by a tree, you're looking and you're going, damn, and there's like a Milotic in the water at one point, and it's like a really big Pokemon. Yeah. See, that's like it's got a good sense of wonder that way. It does feel cool. I think actually in the new update, they've got an ability to shrink your little cart thing that you're traveling in. Sorry about the background noise. I've got my window open. So then small Pokemon can appear massive as well. So you can kind of, I don't know, experience a gigantic Pikachu in it. But yeah, I'll tell you what, it's pretty like replayable because so you're taking these photos of the Pokemon, obviously, and there's like quality control of your photos. Basically, you can take like a 1, 2, 3, or 4 star photo. So if you've taken a picture of Pikachu and it's 1 star, 2 days ago, and today you take another photo of Pikachu and it's 1 star, you can replace that in your album, but you get a little photo album so you can, and you can only have 1 picture of each star. So 1 star Pikachu, 1 2-star Pikachu, a 3-star Pikachu, and you can kind of replace them if you want a better representation in there. But yeah, so you want to try and like catch the little pictures of them all, and you can. And then there's all this sort of like, I don't know, like my daughter's into like the more like customizing element, but I don't really see the point in it. Like you can add like frames to those photos and stickers and like emojis and LOL and fucking all that shit. But really, like, and you can share the photos with the fam. You can share the photos with like your friends and stuff. But no, for me, I was just playing it sort of like unlock the levels and see the sights and whatnot. So you know what? It was cool. There's like a Pokedex, but it's called the Photodex. You're trying to fill it up, and you're trying to do some research and get to the bottom of this mystery. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Like, yeah.
It's got. If you've got no idea what Jake's on about, but you've played Dead Rising, it's a bit like the camera thing in that where you're getting points for taking photos. Is the actual fundamental thing of it, isn't it? It's take good photos and keep them, and that's what it's.
Well, yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm talking about Pokemon, then I mean, you've strayed too far from God's light, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's and so. Of course, not to make things too easy or relevant for anybody, we're recording this the day before the free update comes out. So by the time you listen to this, it'll already be outdated. But I don't know, just in case anyone was interested to understand, like, I don't know what the game actually was. Because, when you're looking at the pictures and the stills and the trailers, you're seeing, like, people taking photos. But I don't know if you have, like, a real understanding of, like, how on rails it is, how limited it is in that way. So yeah, but overall, like, it's a pretty relaxing time, and even though there's only 9 levels to play, it goes quick.
I could do with more things being on rails, to be honest. I just, there's a point in my life where anything being open world would be exciting. So anything that's on rails is the complete antithesis of it, isn't it? So it's like.
Bring back Time Crisis.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to give me some fucking Destiny. Give me some Destiny on rail. Give me that gun. Give me that shooting. And all I've got to worry about is pointing the gun and shooting it. That's what I want. Liam, what have you been playing, mate?
I've played a few different things. I played... I finished Samurai Warriors 5, continuing on from last week. I finished both of the characters' campaigns. A bit disappointing. Like, a lot of the missions are just the same battles, but you start on the other side of the map. So it's like different objectives and that, but the same map. But overall, still very fun game. I had a good time with it. Then I played a little bit of the Ascent, which just came out. Actually, I can't. It was either last.
It came out on Friday, didn't it?
Friday. That was. I couldn't remember if it was like the Thursday or the Friday. And this was, if you remember it, it was like this cyberpunk isometric RPG looking game shown off at the Microsoft press conference. I think the very first one, like the next gen one, before the next gen consoles were even out. And yeah, it's a twin stick shooter with RPG elements set on this in this like sci-fi cyberpunk world. It's a bit of a visual showcase, to be honest. It is a gorgeous looking game. Like, they absolutely nailed the art direction and the atmosphere and everything. They absolutely nailed it. Like, graphically, it's very, very good looking. The gameplay it's just okay. I've not like finished the game or anything, because more on that in a minute. But the gameplay is just, it's a twin stick shooter, pretty standard, you know. Left stick is move, right stick is aim, trigger to shoot. There is a cover system in it, but you don't really have to use it all that much. You can just, because you're mainly focused on like your movement. And then you've got like abilities. You've got like an ability on the left bumper, another one on the right bumper. You can throw a grenade as well. Pretty standard like shooter stuff. And then yeah, the RPG stuff there's just like different gear slots where you can choose what armor you want to wear, what weapons you want in your loadout. You can have an assault rifle and a shotgun, or you can have 2 pistols. It's up to you. And then skill points, which you just put into different stats, like better aiming, better crit rate, more like resistance to debuffs and stuff like that. Pretty standard like RPG stuff. It's a pretty shallow RPG system, to be honest. It's just like quests, side quests, skill points, and that's all there really is to the RPG stuff in it. There's no like dialogue options or like chatting with NPCs or anything like that. But then, so my only issue with the Ascent is it could have used probably about 6 more months development time. Is the only thing.
Really, 6 months?
It's very, very buggy from what I played. Like, some people, you know, of course, as always with games, some people have played it, had no issues at all.
Yeah.
I've had nothing but issues. So I installed it on my Xbox Series X, and then I was playing it, and it looks really good and it runs really well.
It does look nice. The stills and the footage and stuff that I've seen, it looks really nice.
But like, it stutters every so often, and by every so often I mean like every 5 seconds or so, which is does not have a nice effect on the controls. Then there's a lot of progression related bugs as well. So on the Xbox, I got, I think, like 4 or 5 missions into it, and then I went into this boss arena, fought the boss, and then nothing happened. I googled it, turns out that's a bug, and so all you got to do is quit out to the main menu and reload it and do the mission again. No. Except when I went to quit out to the main menu, the quit to main menu button did not work, and I couldn't actually quit to the main menu, so I had to force shut down the game from like the Xbox dashboard, restart it, do the mission again. It finally let me through that time, and then the game just like hard crashed on me on the Xbox. And so at this point I was like, you know what, I'm just going to leave it, because also the UI on the Xbox is horribly small, and I only sit like, you can literally see my TV behind me, so I'm not exactly far away from it.
It's not a living room setup, is it? You're in like a bedroom setup with
I am. And yeah, I could feel my eyes straining. And like with this UI, I went into the options, made the UI biggest, so like set to its biggest, didn't actually do anything. Again, another bug where the options don't actually work. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it another chance. So I installed it on PC through Game Pass, because that's how I was playing it. It is on Game Pass day one. And then the UI, immediately a lot better. You can tell it's definitely like a game that was made for PC first and foremost, and then ported to consoles afterwards. So the UI was a lot better, except the stutter on the PC version, a million times worse. Just like every 1 or 2 seconds, the game is just like stuttering. No matter, I tried turning down graphical settings, I tried to like lowering the resolution, I moved it from like my main SSD to a different SSD I've got in my computer.
You gave it every chance.
I did, yeah, nothing fixed for stutter. But yeah, I just like, and then again, got to a mission, finished, like, did the boss fight at the end of the mission, except nothing happened. So I had to quit the game again, because again, the quit to main menu button didn't work again on the PC version now. And then so I had to restart the game again. Like, I had to like full on Alt F4 out of it to quit the game. Turned in the quest, and then it just like the game wouldn't actually start whenever I tried to play it again. So I was just like, you know what? I think I've given it a fair shake. Yeah. I'm going to uninstall it, and I might come back to it in like a few months' time if they ever get around to fixing it. But it is only a small indie dev team, so who knows?
Well, did you see about the Steam version
I did, yeah. I was going to mention this. So like, the Steam version has features that the console and Game Pass version does not.
Game Pass for PC including?
Game Pass for PC, yeah. So you'd think, like, if it's on Game Pass for PC, why is it not just the same as the Steam version? Yeah. Well, it turns out in the Game Pass version, because it's got ray tracing on the Steam version, doesn't work in the Game Pass version. Like a few of the options in the menu just don't work. If you change it from like DirectX 11 to DirectX 12, it just like it runs even worse when it should already be running. There's no like DLSS for NVIDIA graphics card users and stuff in the Game Pass version. So
no
it's
ray tracing, DLSS, and apparently it doesn't utilize your SSD. Apparently,
that might be why it's stuttering like mad.
Yeah, it takes twice as long to load because it doesn't run off your SSD.
So it seems like somehow the Xbox and Game Pass. Oh, and that's the Steam version has difficulty settings. The Game Pass and Xbox version does not. So and the game's quite challenging as well. So if you want to like turn down the difficulty, you can only do it on the Steam version at the minute. So it's weirdly like the Steam version is the release one. And then the Game Pass and Xbox version is like an older, outdated preview build that they didn't like update. So I don't know. I'm not in game development. I can't say, but I wanted to like this game. I gave it every chance, but sadly, I had to drop it and just like move on to something else because it's just a bit disappointing, really. Because I was looking forward to it as well.
Obviously, something about the fucking Cyberpunk City games, isn't it? It's just not working out for them.
No. Keep an eye on that.
That is a bummer because that does look alright.
It is,
maybe, who knows? Maybe it'll get updated.
I hope they do. Like, I've seen like the devs have been like really active on like Twitter and Reddit and Reset Era and all that. So like they're very aware of what's going on and they're like they're promising to fix it, but well, it remains to be seen, I guess.
And okay, let's do. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say like the only other thing I played this week was Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. And to be fair, Square Enix deserves some credit for this time. This is an actual... So this was announced at their E3 show a couple months ago. They announced they're going to be doing Final Fantasy 1 to 6, brand new remasters, brand new ports, instead of like the shitty mobile versions they've had on Steam and mobile for years now. They've got rid of them. They've put these new versions on. They've got rearranged music. They've got the original pixel art and all the sprites that you know and love. They've redone all the UI. It's got shit font, but luckily you can fix that by renaming a couple files.
Yeah.
And it's I have to give them credit. Like Square Enix's ports of their old classic games are usually pretty bad. This time around, they're pretty good, and I have to give them credit, and they're cheap as well. So at the minute, they've only released Final Fantasy 1 to 3, or 1, 2, and 3. And they're like, the first 1 and 2 are like £7 each, and then 3's £10, I think.
All right.
But they're really well done. And
you know what? Yeah, I give them no credit because I like what I just heard from you, and I thought that's good. If Liam is given Final Fantasy Pixel Master the vibe check pass, I'll look at it on the Switch. To my shock,
this is the
and
big
disappointment.
One.
It's not on any consoles. Why would you remake the old Final Fantasies only on PC where it can be easily emulated? I bet there's like a website like playfinalfantasy.com or something where you can play all the old ones for free. Yeah. Probably if Square Enix legal teams listening, I'm just joking. And then come on. How can you not have it on the consoles, man?
What I can only assume is because it's only the 1, 2, and 3 that have been released at the minute, and then 4, 5, and 6 are meant to be coming, I think, like towards the end of August. What I can only assume is like PC is basically like an early access sort of thing,
Right.
And then they'll release like a physical collection, like on a cartridge or a disc for PS4, Switch, Xbox. That's only what I can assume they're going to do.
Yeah.
But with Square Enix, you never can be quite sure what they're actually doing.
Listen to how cool this is. Square Enix's own website, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series, simply says this: that unshakable nostalgia, that undeniable quality. Like the fucking Rolex or something like that. Yeah, that's good.
That sounds like an Aston Martin.
That is very, very classy.
It sounds like a Lindt chocolate advert.
Yeah, undeniable quality is so ballsy, but Liam says they pulled it off, so I believe.
It's getting review bombed though on Metacritic because of the console thing, because you can't get it on anything apart from PC and mobile. Oh yeah, and for whatever reason, the mobile pricing is like extortionate on them. Whereas on Steam, they're like pretty cheap, but on mobile they're like 15, 20 quid each or something.
Rats. Well, yeah, I'll keep an eye out for it. Maybe coming on console then. But yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you got to jump into like an old Final Fantasy. That's cool.
Yeah, the very first one.
Okay, let's do some emails then. So we as promised, we've had loads of emails, and we'll get through as many as we can in this podcast, just as a way of ploughing through the kind of backlog, I guess, because there is a lot. If you want to send us an email, the address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Please do keep them coming in because it helps us put the podcast together. And, you can just give us things to think about and talk about, and, anything you want us to raise on the podcast, then that's your chance. dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. This email is from Arthur in Kent, whose star sign is Scorpio.
Yes. What's your sun rising?
Favorite animals: dogs, songbirds, red squirrels. Least favorite animals: cats, seagulls, and grey squirrels. So that's
absolutely. Good. You know. Yeah.
My village on Anglesey has got a red squirrel reserve
sanctuary. I've been there. It's actually beautiful. Yeah. Good thing that.
There you go.
You should be proud.
Thanks for bringing that up, Arthur. So Arthur says this: Dear Special Moves, The Witcher 3 Complete Edition arriving before the year's end on next-gen consoles. With The Witcher 3 Complete Edition arriving before the year's end on next-gen consoles, I thought I might write in to pick your brains as regards my own reservations. As someone who doesn't particularly enjoy open-world games, the idea of a 100-plus hour RPG complete with myriad side quests and endless janky horse travel from point A to B to C and then back to A, perhaps via D, has never really appealed to me. That being said, everyone I have ever spoken to about The Witcher 3 insists that it's basically the second coming of Jesus. As a fantasy medieval history nerd, I'm keen to finally give it the old try. The main question I have for you three lads is, though, how linear of an experience can I make The Witcher 3? Ghost of Tsushima was great in that the 3 parts of the island were effectively sectioned off, so the map never felt overwhelming to me. Moreover, the fast travel points were so generous that I rarely had to travel on horseback.
Yeah.
Something similar be possible for The Witcher 3. Finally, are you guys hoping for anything in particular from the new edition of this game? Mod support on consoles, improved horse physics, a cheeky Henry Cavill cameo maybe. All the best, Arthur and Ken. Yeah, so it's funny, we were just talking about this earlier, with Pokemon Snap being on rails.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Snap is like The Witcher.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No, with like linearity and open world stuff, and Arthur wants the game to not be so big and open. What I would say with The Witcher, which is pretty good, is I think a lot of some games have kind of copied it now, but Assassin's Creed did it with the latest one. What's it called? Valhalla. The Witcher 3 gives you like an area first to give you so there's like a smaller area that you explore to begin with. And then you move on to like the main big bulk of the map, and then there's a big city and everything in this area and stuff. But at the beginning, it's just a small part of the map. There's a few quests there, and it's just a tutorial area basically. But it just gives you a sense of what the game's about, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah,
I think The Witcher is
I like that.
Yeah, it's good. I think The Witcher is sort of different to other open world games in the way it's built, because it is more like traditional kind of RPG, but there's, it's kind of famous for the way it makes story, it gives you like story incentive for all the side stuff. It's not, it doesn't feel as much of a checklist. Even though the quest log can be intimidating. You open the quest log and you can think, what the fuck is this? And certain you can get like a level 37 quest.
That's exactly it, isn't it? Yeah, right.
All that shit can be confusing. But on the whole, it is kind of better than just having, endless repetitive things to do, because they're all they're all revolve around different monsters, and there's like a puzzly element to monsters almost. Yeah,
I mean, there should be I don't know, Walter, because everybody who likes The Witcher is, well, not everybody, but a lot of miserable people like The Witcher. A lot of people that say games aren't good anymore like The Witcher and all that shit. Aren't you a bit curious as to know what's making so many miserable people happy, as well as making happy people happy? It really is like good. Like, you play it and you go, okay then. Even if you're sat there going, okay, impress me. You go, all right then. What I do like is that you can kind of make a beeline straight through the Golden Path like story if you want, and that's quite easily identified and stuff like that. I think there's one bit where you end up doing a bit of a side quest. You have to do something for a character, a certain bloody character. And then there's a side quest that's so tantalizing that you go, I'll just make a little excursion. And I think that's when it'll get you. There's a couple of bits where it'll introduce you to a character in the main story, and then you can continue their quest you can continue their story in a side quest or continue on. And I think that's when you're going to start to realize you're enjoying yourself, because you're going to think, actually, I'm not forced to, but I would like to understand a bit more about this or this. But yeah, like what Mike just said, you start off in this area called White Orchard, I think. Then it's a very simple premise. It's really, really good. And then you go to Velen and Novigrad or whatever afterwards. And then there's more areas, and
you go to Ireland.
Yeah, you go to, that's it. Yeah. It's got a certain something about it that you got to see. Think about how many people would be absolutely chomping at the bit to make an actually here's why The Witcher 3 is shit 5 years on, 6 years on, but it hasn't happened yet. And the reason it hasn't happened yet is because it is fucking good. Yeah. Try. Honestly, nothing would make me happier in a way, knowing how annoying people are about The Witcher sometimes, to say, actually, guys, it's not that good. Even that, but it just really is that good. It's proper worth a little go.
Yeah. It's. I think it would be intimidating to me to go and do a game the size of The Witcher, even though I was looking forward to this thing. I was waiting for it, for ages. But
you played it again recently, or at least started it, and so did I. Liam, you haven't been into it for a bit now.
No, and I don't ever want to be honest.
Yeah. I was going to say, not even next gen.
No, I'm not one of those people, I'm not being a contrary hipster, being oh, The Witcher's actually shit. I'm not like that. But The Witcher, just when I played it, it left me whelmed. I thought, this was good. And that was that. That was my entire feelings on it. I'm not like other people where I'm it's the best thing I've ever played, and anyone who says it isn't the best thing ever played is the Antichrist. I'm not like that. I thought it was a good.
It's got the worst fans. If someone is a gay.
Oh, I don't know. Rick and Morty fans are pretty bad.
I know. If someone calls himself a gamer and they're a prick, right? There's a good chance that they really like The Witcher.
Yeah, that's fair.
but there's a high chance that even the good people like The Witcher. That's what I'm on about.
Oh yeah, it's in the same way that a lot of people like football, and some of them are nice and some of them are pricks. But there's just I don't know. I suspect, if I read a comment, I've got a good feeling.
If you read a comment and the person's got the Witcher wolf as their logo, then you're thinking, okay, it's kind of like if you read a tweet and the person's got like, I don't know, some footballer on the front or whatever in it. You just think, all right, you're not Harry Maguire. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of
you're not Geralt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is it. Geralt wouldn't say this. Geralt wouldn't say this. So Liam, even the promise of, I don't know, 4K 60 or whatever wouldn't get you back in. No, like there's nothing. Is there anything they could do to get you back in?
Well, even the DLC that everyone said was the best DLC you've ever seen, still not played that. I don't really have any desire to.
Blood and Wine.
Yeah, just like.
I thought you meant Old Hunters for a second then.
Oh no, I played Old Hunters. I only played Old Hunters for the first time over December lockdown.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, my family got COVID and I had to self-isolate because I'd been in contact with them. So what better way to celebrate my literally being stuck here for 10 days than like
family case of pale blood though.
Like delving into the depths of slaying the beasts in the dark. Yeah. But yeah, just like I like Witcher 3 is a good game. I do think it is good. I like it, but it's just it doesn't excite me like it excites other people, you know?
Yeah.
See, Arthur, that could be you.
I definitely agree with what the scale of it though, because you know that has become to me the number one, not concern, but that is the first. But is it open world? You know, that's the first thing I'm worried about whenever anything's announced or anything. I just can't. I have not got the interest in walking from A to B in a game again. You know, I mean, it's like I'm sort of over it. So, but the Witcher, you know, I was looking forward to. I did start playing it, like Jake said, but then I'm waiting. I stopped because I'm waiting to play the fucking
special one,
the proper version.
Not the Switch version.
Yeah, not even on an OLED.
Christ almighty. Yeah, I tried it. All right. Next email. Thanks for that, Arthur. That was a good email. This one is from Chris Westmoreland in Indiana, who says, "Hey gamers,
yo,
I was listening to an excellent podcast I recently discovered, Video Game Grooves, where they talk about video games and video game music on vinyl. I was digging through their backlog and discovered motherfucking Earthbound, a complete reimagining of the Earthbound soundtrack, and it's incredible. It took me right back to being 12 years old and buying the big box game at Toys R Us, then promptly being stricken with the flu. I got to stay home from school for a week while I sat in my bed playing Earthbound, one of my most favoured gaming while sick memories. Second to that, years later, the same thing happened. Dino Crisis. I'd like to say that game scared the shit out of me, but I think that was aided by the flu. So my question to you lot is, what are some of your favourite gaming while sick and stuck in bed memories? Do any games stand out and come to mind? As always, thanks for the fantastic podcast and pseudo-digital friendship. I appreciate the honesty and positivity of the pod."
Bro, pseudo-digital friendship is such a fucking good PlayStation username.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's good.
Thanks, Chris. I don't know.
Well, as just very recently mentioned, I wasn't sick, but the world was sick, and I got to play Bloodborne again.
Yeah. The best game about illness there is.
Yeah, you know, it was thematically, it was fantastic. I can't remember really. I think I played Ape Escape 1 when I had like a really bad cold when I was a kid, and I remember just being like tucked up in a duvet with the PS1 because my dad said you could have it in your bedroom while I was sick. And I remember playing Ape Escape 1 and Digimon World. I can't remember if it was Digimon World 1 or Digimon World 3. I remember playing them when I was sick, and that was great.
My brain capacity is, you know, not good anyway, but it goes through the floor when I'm ill, and I usually just watch. Not only do I just watch movies, I watch the dumbest movies that I can get my hands on. When I was ill I had COVID earlier this year, and I was ill for, I had bad flu symptoms for probably about a week or something. But I told you guys at the time, right? I watched Blade. All the Blade movies. I watched all the Mission Impossible movies, and I was so happy watching Mission Impossible and watching Blade. The thought of playing a game was just, I don't know. I keep saying this to you guys, don't I? Like playing a game is an active experience for me when I want to be focused on it and I want to be appreciating it. Where I can much more easily kind of just take a dumb movie when I don't want to think. You know what I mean? There aren't many games that I consider like brain off games that I've really turned to very often, apart from like Destiny maybe, or I don't know, but just, you know, games where I don't care what is happening. I just sit back and take it in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I suppose Destiny. If I was ill and playing a game, a shooter, Destiny or Battlefield, or
something you can just sort of like turn your brain off to.
Yeah. What about you, Jake?
Well, first of all, Video Game Grooves, shout out. Friend of mine, friend of the channel, Lucianne Jones, sent me the link to this podcast a couple of months ago, you know, saying that she thought I'd like it. Yeah, exactly. And I checked out an episode, I think it was the Castlevania Rondo Blood episode, yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It's a good podcast. If you're into that sort of thing, it's a bit like, you know, musical intense. I don't know how.
It's called Rondo of Blood.
That's a Castlevania game, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
It's got the
your mind. Yeah, don't worry. Right?
I've got a business card.
It's got the funkiest bass line in any Castlevania game. That has.
Exactly, and that's the focus of a specific podcast episode. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it depends what your tolerance is for square waves. Yeah, but basically, like I couldn't listen to it back to back. But I love the question because one of my favorite films is Phantom Thread. Yeah. And it's a bit of a plot point that he gets a bit, you know, when he's a bit poorly, he becomes a little bit more susceptible to stuff. And I think that's me with Eurojank. Basically, I have some really good memories of some of the worst fucking games ever made.
What a connection, guys. What a connection. Me liking shit European games is kind of like...
Reynolds Woodcock. If you watch the Phantom Thread, Mike, if you remember...
I remember it well.
I can't
remember it. Jesus.
I have some good memories of some not so good games because, like, my brain has been clogged up by plague. But
yeah,
I remember playing Risen and really, really enjoying that.
Good example.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what is really funny? Because I actually sometimes there's a game that I don't play, and then when I get ill, I'll revisit it out of, you know, sheer desperation, I suppose. Maybe, I don't know. But I remember once I was really into Call of Duty and I was very unwell and I couldn't really focus on Call of Duty Online. So I played the only game that I had at my disposal all the way through and I loved it. And it was Two Worlds. And I absolutely, unapologetically loved my time on Two Worlds. It was really good. Recently, it was just at the start of the COVID, like the lockdown, the pandemic. I had a really, really bad infection. It was like a throat infection or something like that. And I remember it was a bit of a weird time because I had to like go to the hospital, but because no one really knew shit about COVID and it was affecting my breathing because it was in my throat. I had to do the COVID test, like the proto-COVID test and all that, and wait around. And it was a really weird time. But I remember playing Nier Automata and properly loving it. So the reason I mentioned the pandemic is that you can put a time on there, like maybe 2 years, 3 years after launch of Nier Automata. But
there's a game to make you contemplate your life, if there ever is one.
I really had a good time with that. Really, really, really did. So I suppose that's one of my highlights, Nier Automata. If you want a good game, and if you want a game that's maybe not so good, I really like Two Worlds.
I think
the
last game I remember playing, like, that I remember being ill, I think it was when was it? It was around like, this must have been like a year and a half ago now, something like that. I had like a really bad cold and it only lasted like a day, but all I did for that day was like wrap myself up in a hoodie and play Tetris Effect. And that was all I did for like the entire day, and it was magical. Made me feel alive again.
Oh god, that's good. Tetris Effect is fucking good, actually. Whether you're ill or not.
Thanks for the email there, Chris. We'll do another one.
Thanks, Chris.
This one's from Scott Bauer, who says, Duck Lads, the secret's out, just completed the final boss stage of Into the Breach on Nintendo Switch. Well, that's a great game on handheld for anyone wondering, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I finished it and understand that there's more mechs to unlock and ways to keep playing the game even further, but I'm just not that arsed due to a gaming backlog. Are you guys generally completionists, or due to life and the podcast dip in and out of games when you feel you've gotten enough from it? Cheers, Scott. Yeah, completionists. I think we have kind of been asked things, around this before. But I think we're all a bit different, aren't we? Really, I mean, I'm certainly not. Like, I'm definitely not.
It depends on the game for me. Like, because I play so many JRPGs. And then so many of them have, but that's not actually the true ending, and you've got to do a bunch of grindy bullshit to get the true ending.
Yeah,
I've done that a lot, but lately I have been being a lot better about, because I have in the past played games that I honestly despise, but just see them through to the end out of stubbornness.
Yeah,
but it's one of your best qualities, I always say.
But recently, I've been getting a lot better of being if I feel like I've had my time with a game, I'll be like, yeah, cool, and I'll move on. Yeah, Samurai Warriors, we're finishing that a couple days ago. I didn't complete it or anything. There was probably 100 more hours of content if I wanted it. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I've had my fill. I had a good time. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. But yeah, sometimes it is mainly JRPGs for me, where it's because a lot of them grow very long in the tooth by the end of the game, and you're I'm just sick of it, I want it to end. And then you're oh, but there's actually a 10-hour epilogue that you've got to do to, Persona games are very famous for it, where it's oh, but you've not actually seen the true dungeon, have you? And it's but yeah, it varies on a game-by-game basis for me.
What are you, Jake?
Don't know, mate. To be honest, I'm not massive on it.
Well, we had a little thing about the Battlefield.
I was just about to say, Dark Souls and that. I like it. I don't know why. I feel like I need to mop everything up there, and I love the ritual, and I love it all. But I'm not against these sort of online. Platinum, when I say completion, I'm talking now about getting the platinum trophy on PlayStation. Watching the scumbag, I know. But so I'm close to the Battlefield 5 one. It's literally a matter of time now. You just need to get level 11 on all your classes. I'm level over 11 on all of them apart from one. So it's just a matter of time. Orcs Must Die. I'm going for the platinum, and that is a lot of tedium. But I'm actually, what I like is it makes me really. It makes things stick in my memory quite a lot. Dark Souls 3, I know it like the back of my hand. I know every map. I know every enemy placement pretty much. I really master at Sekiro and Dark Souls 3, I'd say at this point. And so, I don't know. I like that aspect of it. I like it when I'm in it and stuff like that. It's hard to find time. Really, unless I'm really getting something out of it, Binding of Isaac. It's funny because I've got so many hours in it. I don't think I've ever 100%ed it, because whenever I've got close to eventually getting 100%, they triple the content of the game in an update. But yeah, I'm quite into getting everything on the shooters, those types of games. But the RPGs,
well, some of them are just more doable, aren't they? Some are not doable, but you just maintain, like Liam said, with the JRPGs getting long too. Lots of fucking games get long. And fair, Assassin's Creed,
world games, started exactly
RPGs and stuff. But certain things, if you're into it, you're into it. And but same for Assassin's Creed. If you're into it, you're into it. But for us, what I mean is, for me, it was, very recently. I've probably given up, to be honest. But there was probably a week where I thought I was going to get the Battlefield 5 just because we were playing it a lot. And it gave me some added purpose to use my sidearm in all the things to make sure that I got the fucking sidearm trophy or whatever. And Bloodborne, I wanted to get the platinum in Bloodborne because, it's my favourite game. So I did. But the amount of platinums that I've actually got, probably 3 or 4. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like that. With RPGs, I'm very rarely going to get the plat. I could go at Divinity Original Sin 1. I'm one trophy away from the platinum.
That'd be a good one,
Divinity Original Sin 1. I'm one away. I've done it on the hardest difficulty. I've done everything apart from one quest, which when I did it was bugged the first time.
Oh.
So and it's some ways into the game. But yeah, if you have a look at, if you've got me on PlayStation, whatever, have a look on that. One away. I might be two away because one requires the first step of that quest. But there's one side quest I didn't complete.
I'll do it in co-op, mate.
The first Divinity is actually
it's good.
Dead easy because no one's got armor, so you can just use charm on everybody. That's how I did it when I was on hard. But I remember the game that I got the most like. I did the Wind Waker 100%. Every little thing in the Wind Waker. I actually lived in that game as a kid. Like I'm massive on Zelda, and the Wind Waker is the one I'm easily 80% of my love for Zelda comes from that, and I 100%ed 100% that. I remember the first game I ever 100%ed as well. Off the top of my head, it was Spyro 2: Gateway to Glimmer. That's the first ever game with like all the collectibles and stuff that I 100%ed, because you could go to like a theme park at the end if you 100%ed it, and then you could unlock different aspects of the theme park depending on how many gems and stuff. So it was a really cool little incentive. So I don't know. There's a little bit of extra useless knowledge there, but yeah.
That's another good email. Thank you very much. We'll do one more maybe.
Go on.
Games. This is which one should we do? This one is from Jack in Reading, who says,
"Let's go.
Dear Special Moves. Early in the year, I'd been finishing up my final year at university, and so I hadn't been playing many games. When I returned home, I realised that I would actually need glasses because the TV was a little too blurry for my liking.
Yeah.
So for the past 2 months, I've been without games, waiting for my new glasses. COVID.
For how long?
2 months, because COVID has delayed the opticians a little bit.
Oh, right.
It's been a pretty agonising wait. I was wondering if you guys have had any similar periods of time away from gaming other than just being fatigued or burnt out. Bless up, Jack.
Yes. Nice one, Jack. And bless up to you too.
Well, I hope you get your glasses sorted, because that's fucking bad. I've got contact lenses. We're all fucking,
we're all specky. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we feel you. Longest periods. I think for us is like you're constantly reminded. If I'm not playing games, I know as soon as it's like Monday or Tuesday, I start thinking I haven't played anything because I've got the podcast coming up. So maybe it's a bit different for us because we have that. Like,
I think so.
Scheduled, to it.
Yeah. Certainly not like a period like 2 months, but when I'm away for work, that's gaming stuff too. So I'm never really a couple of days. Like honestly, if I hadn't played Pokemon Snap on Saturday, I would have gone 4 or 5 days without playing a game. It's probably the longest I've gone, not by choice. Sometimes maybe if I have a week of watching films instead or something, but really not that long a period, to be completely honest. And I've done well to navigate this tricky life. Without spending at least more than no more than three days before playing a game again, which is quite bad when you think about it.
What about you, Liam?
Yeah, like the only time I can think like I've taken like a significant stretch of time away from games is where I've been burnt out and I've deliberately had to say like I'm going to take like a month off and not play any games just to sort of like refresh myself.
Too many JRPGs, isn't it?
Too many JRPGs.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a teenager, I played Final Fantasy 1 through 12 pretty much back to back over the course of like 3 months.
I'll do it. That'll do it.
But no, that was great. Like I was like, I couldn't get enough of games then. I was like, give me all the games. I was like inhaling them. That was when
Bruce Bogtrotter, but with games.
It was like I had this like weird time gap where in sixth form, all my A-level exams fell within like a week of each other. But then I wasn't starting uni until like the October. So I finished all my exams in like May and then had until October of doing absolutely fuck all. So I just played games. But yeah, I don't think I've ever gone longer than like unintentionally, probably just where I've not felt like playing a game and like saying I've just like watched a film instead or like watched TV or something. And then I've been like, oh yeah, I haven't played any games. What shall I have a go of? Yeah, but like never too long without like another like mitigating circumstance that has like made it so I can't play games. Yeah, there's always been like At least, probably the longest I've gone is, like a month or two, but that was, again, when I deliberately had to be like, I need to take a break.
Yeah. It's just kind of work related for me, I guess. It's very my work's very all-consuming when it's busy, and, and the hours you work and stuff are very long. So then when you're, like I was saying earlier about being ill, I suppose, I find gaming to be like an active hobby that I want to be thinking about when I'm doing it. So it's not usually something I think about when I want to just have brain off time. So I do have long stretches where I don't play, but even with doing a podcast, really. But then I do have these huge fucking bursts. Usually when I've got time off, like a long weekend, a week off. The first thing I'm thinking about is like fucking downloading games and installing games I already own and fucking queuing up a co-op session with you guys or something. And, when I see, I've got a few days there with no outside pressures, the first thing I want to do is smash a load of games. So I'm very, it swings like that for me, I suppose.
Yeah.
I have long breaks away, but then there are times where I don't want to do anything except fucking play Total War Warhammer. All right, thanks everyone for your emails. Keep them coming into dsplusmoves@gmail.com. We'll do the new games we wrap up.
Jesus Christ, sorry about all the loud traffic today.
You've got fucking Fast and Furious happening out there tonight.
Family, innit?
And everything. Yeah, family. Need for Speed
Gonna
Rivals.
be drifting around the corners.
Fuck.
Let's do the new games. So
fucking loads, actually. I'm gonna fucking, when you're done, I'll come in like Gandalf in Helm's Deep and just drop about 6 more.
What, new games?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you want to do it then? Because I've only got like.
Oh no,
I'll just do the ones I've got, and then you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is the first week of August. The new games from August the 2nd to August the 6th. August the 2nd is Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition, the African Royals, which is coming to PC. So you know what Age of Empires is. This is a kind of expansion, I guess.
It's weird how they do this. They've been like making new DLC for Age of Empires like decades after they came out.
Yeah, I never got into 3.
No, I didn't get into 3 that much.
It really didn't do it.
A lot of people I know really like it, but I don't think I played much of it.
I don't know what it is, but I've said this before. I just 3D RTS. I'm a huge RTS fan. As I've fucking said loads, but for some reason, a 3D RTS, apart from Battle for Middle-earth 2, which is the fucking of all time, there isn't many 3D enjoy. So anyway, so that's happening, and then Grime is happening the same day on PC and Stadia. Not
to be confused with the UK subgenre of hip hop. At 140 beats per minute.
Described as a platform adventure Metroidvania.
I saw a trailer for it. Got a pretty unique looking art style, but other than that, I can't remember much about it. Sadly.
That's the fucking minimum requirement these days. You gotta have a unique art style.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's what it's all about. If you're a 2D fucking anyway, on the 3rd of August is In Sound Mind, which is out on PC. Switch.
Been delayed till mid-September.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
Forget that then.
Yeah.
And then on the 5th of August, the Friday, is the Falconeer Warrior Edition, which is out on Switch, PS4, and PS5.
Yeah. I got this with my Xbox.
Oh, did you?
But Game Pass. These aren't new games, but they're all the Game Pass things that are coming on the 5th, and they're pretty fucking good. So I wanted to read them out loud. Okay. Curse of the Dead Gods. It's okay, but on Xbox Game Pass, console and PC, it is good. Katamari Damacy reroll on console and PC, August the 5th. It's fucking good. If you've not played Katamari Damacy reroll, do it.
I played it on Switch recently, the reroll version.
Good looking, isn't it? There is Skate and Skate 3, both coming to Game Pass on EA Play. Yeah, so
I understand.
Yeah,
that's why we're doing this.
And no. There's one more. It's actually a new game as well. Yeah, it's actually a new game. It's a Chucklefish production. Chucklefish, pretty well known. They got that what's that game called? Starbound, and they got Witchbrook coming out later this year, which looks to be.
It's been forever, hasn't it? You know,
yeah, Witchbrook, but it's one I've been keeping an eye on for years. And anyway, they've got their like Dwarf Fortress inspired space colony sim called Starmancer, which is also August 5th and on Xbox, part of the game preview program.
I'll tell you what, right? Starbound needs to be on Nintendo Switch. I don't know why it's not on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good little game, but it would be a great little game on Nintendo Switch.
Starmancer looks like your sort of thing, Mike. Dare I say?
I've never done any of them. I've not done any of RimWorlds and all that sort of stuff.
This one looks a little bit more. It looks a bit more 2 Point Hospital than RimWorld, if you get me. But with that, like, still with that Starbound kind of art style. But like, yeah, it's got a unique look to it. It looks pretty cool, and it's it's one of those. It's inspired by Dwarf Fortress in the sense that like anything can happen. You know, pirates could join your spacecraft and try and murder you, but they all contract diarrhea and shit themselves to death or whatever. You know what I mean? Like those really wacky, weird things that can only happen in Dwarf Fortress. So they're trying to replicate that. So that's something. And then this one, if any indie fans are listening, this is like one that's really in all the lists since years and years. Since pre-Witchbrook, Death Trash is finally coming into early access. Mike says it sounded like some hot wings that you'd get on like an edgy smokehouse menu, and I think that's kind of ruined it for me because it's right.
Death Trash nachos.
No, you're dead right. You know, it's kind of irritating because now I'm always going to think about. Yeah, it's making me think it's looking delicious. Death Trash is like this sort of. To think about it now, like we're in a post-disco Elysium world, yeah. So you can't have an isometric like dystopian cosmic horror old school role-playing experience without being like into like the best PC game of all time, Disco Elysium. So I don't know, Death Trash does look like it could do well. It's got like a really cool art style and it's made by one man. You know, like they all are.
Right.
Like that Garden game we spoke about last week and all the rest.
Stardew Valley, all them.
Stardew Valley, The Falconeer. It's made by one guy, the game that you just mentioned a minute ago. So yeah, Death Trash finally is here August 5th. Let's see what all the fuss is about next week because there's been a lot of fuss about this, you know. So
okay, Death Trash, right? Yeah. So look forward to that next week. We're going to go now. But there's not going to be a bonus podcast this week. Very sorry. I'm actually.
Yeah, peace and love. In
the middle of a big work project. It's 9 p.m. now, and I have to continue working on my actual day job.
Night job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's now my night job. Yeah. So there's not going to be no bonus podcast this week. Very sorry, patrons, but we'll be back next week. Yeah, and it'll be just as good. And we will talk about Suicide Squad because we're going to go in there. Hopefully, get a chance to watch that soon together. So, yep. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Keep your emails coming into dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Keep supporting us on Patreon. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.